Tuesday evening to you all out there, and welcome into another episode of the Barking Brown Show. I'm Jacob, Mr. Casey Kinnaman, and Nick Carnes down below. We're brought to you as always by our friends over at SeatGeek. If you want to go watch your Cavs, opening day, the home opener's a week away. It's like 7, something like it's like a weekish. Next week is the opening day for the Guardian home opener for the Guardians. So if you want to get tickets for that, go over to SeatGeek, use our promo code Barking Browns, all one word, get $20 off that first purchase. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up there over on the YouTubes. Gentlemen, how are we?
Doing fantastic, man. I made my triumphant return to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
It's been since the pandemic, literally. I used to live in that thing. Made my way today, did chesticles and triceps. So I'll probably pay for that later. But
oh yeah,
I was back and by, you know what I mean? So this is going to be the summer of Case. Calling it now.
It's a beautiful thing.
My favorite's once you've hit all of your upper body the day after, because you can't move anything without it. You're like, oh God.
I've just been running, man. I'm working my way up to the weights. It's like I need to build consistency in my life, and I've been like 3 weeks now. I've been back running. I think it's in the air, you know. It's like we get a little warmer. And Casey, I know you're getting like warmer down there, but it's like all of a sudden the days get longer, and you got some more energy, and you're like, I gotta get in and get going. So that's kind of been the way it is. But I'll tell you what, I'm pumped up for a different reason. Russell Wilson is not a Cleveland Brown. I never wanted him to be a Cleveland Brown. And it brings up a ton of interesting possibilities and takeaways that I know we're going to get into. So I'm pumped the hell up, and I'm ready to celebrate.
I'm confused a little bit about the fallout. And now granted, it's only been like an hour and a half or whatever. He signed like an hour and 2 hours ago or something like that, whatever it was. And I don't get why we're like, I don't know. I didn't see anybody who was really super crazy excited about signing him. But then all of a sudden there was a lot of fury about not signing him that I couldn't quite, I guess, wrap my head around, just solely based on the fact that I never saw anybody clamoring for him. Like, to be honest with you, if he had signed, it would have, and hopefully it would have turned out differently, but I would have said the same thing about signing him as I did as hiring Ken Dorsey. It wasn't my first choice, but like I would have been okay with it. Like, because that's what I said about Ken Dorsey getting hired as OC last year. I was like, not my first choice, but like I get it. I think he's a good coach. Obviously, I was wrong, but like, and that didn't work out. But that's what was kind of my feeling was I was like, okay, if they sign him, great. That's fine. Whatever. I think he's a stopgap either way. They're going to draft a quarterback. I don't think they're necessarily drafting one at 2. They might, but I'm just saying they're going to draft a young quarterback. They're going to have a stopgap out there. It could be Russell Wilson, whatever. Okay, cool. That's fine. But like, I don't view things drastically different after he signs in New York. Although I'm very confused about what they're doing in New York.
That's fair because here's my hot take. I think Jameis beats him out for the job at least halfway through the season.
Well, that's my thing. I'm like, what are you doing?
I don't think Russ is like, and I don't get the fit with him and Dayball, but it's whatever. Like when you sign Russell Wilson, you have to be completely prepared to do what Russell does because Russell doesn't go outside of himself. He's good at what he does.
Yeah,
but that's what he does. Like that's what he's got. Like he didn't have like a B game. Like we're going to check it down and we're going to launch some shit. But here's what my point is, like Malik Neighbors with Jameis Winston might set records.
I was excited.
He might set records. So we'll see I think he'll probably get it through camp, but there's going to be a breaking point where Russell is what Russell is and they're not going to be able to do shit with it. And I think they pivot to Winston, but I'm with you. I don't know what they're doing over there. I don't give a shit what they're doing over there. I don't even know what we're doing over here. It's you know, I didn't want Russell Wilson myself. I just think he was a fit for what you want to do with your Kevin Stefanski, but there's no obvious answers out there. There's no like, we get this guy and it saves the world. So I still think it's going to be a wide net approach. You're going to bring a bunch of dudes into camp. There's going to be competition. And hopefully Kevin can make lemonade.
I think the Giants are doing the same thing the Steelers did with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields last year. It's just Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston now. Because let's say, like, you look at the logic and say, like, would the Giants select Shedeur Sanders at 3? And with 2 veterans that are fully capable of starting and obviously signed with the hope to start, right? It just wouldn't make any sense to me for them to draft a quarterback at 3. It just wouldn't. So it feels like the Browns are in this situation where if they want to take a quarterback, all of a sudden the New York destination is like, if you're Shedeur Sanders, okay, all of a sudden New York it doesn't feel as appealing to you anymore. Am I incorrect there? Because I feel like if you're signing 2 capable veterans, that's just not the formula for drafting a rookie quarterback high anymore, right?
Here's my first take. Jameis's contract was that of a backup quarterback. He didn't sign starter money. I don't know what Russell got signed for, but if
10.
it's a 1-year deal, that wouldn't prevent me from drafting Shedeur if I'm them.
So he got a 1-year, $10 million deal that's worth up to 21.
Yeah, so that doesn't prevent them from taking a quarterback. It's 1 year. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't think Shedeur's starting right away, no matter where he goes. So
really, okay,
yeah, I don't think. I think that dude's going to need some seasoning. But that's this whole quarterback class. That isn't specific to him. I think the same thing's true with Dart, Milroe. You keep going down the line. Outside of Cam, I don't see a day 1 starter in this group. Okay. Actually, the one I think that's most capable, probably Will Howard of the secondary group of people.
That's actually what I was
a day 1 guy.
Okay. So and that's just because he's played so much.
But like if I'm like Dion's camp, I don't want my boy around Russell.
I agree.
That's weird. He's a weird dude, man. He's a weird cat. Jameis is at least amicable. Like he'd be a good mentor to anyone. Like he wouldn't try to like sabotage things.
He's trying to help.
Yeah, I think Russ might. Yeah, I think Russ might sabotage the whole thing.
Yeah. Inadvertently too, because I don't even necessarily think he means to be the way that he is, like Russell. Like I don't think he thinks he's a bad person, and I'm not saying he's a bad person. I just think some of the things he does is very like, "Ooh, what are you doing?" and whatever. So we turn the page then, and we say, okay, that's another veteran option. Who's off the board. I don't think people are too – if you're too super tore up about him not coming to Cleveland, like I don't really know what to tell you. I don't really know what to tell you, I guess is what I'm saying, is because like I don't think it's a big deal.
You're just debating about the scraps on the floor, which one you're going to eat at that point.
Thank you.
I've never seen any link to Aaron Rodgers, nor do I want really to have any part of that.
This is a wild card, though, isn't it?
He is the wild card because now he's almost out of options. If it's because he almost has to go to Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, probably. Here's the thing with Aaron Rodgers, Jeff. You're going to hate this. I would love to watch him play for the Browns. I don't think I could cover the team professionally anymore. I think I would have to step away from covering the team professionally if Aaron Rodgers was here. I'd still love to watch him on Sundays. He's crazy talented. I just can't stand the dude.
Yeah, I don't think.
Like, do you think him and Stefanski could be a match? Do you think that could be? Because I just feel like
if you look what he was able to do with LaFleur, he can run that.
It's a similar style.
Very similar. It's very similar. I think he could.
Well, because like I just think about. I was going to take this conversation in a different direction, but it's a very fair point to bring up Aaron Rodgers because nobody had anything about Kenny Pickett, man, nothing, right? And that happened. So
true.
I mean, is it the craziest thing in the world that the Browns come in and probably could offer him some stupid amount of money because they can defer it or whatever and make him happy? Like, I'm not saying that's my number one option, but like, I'm also not going to turn my nose up at it because you've bolstered the trenches on both sides at this point. It feels like a place where. The Brown, like I saw Jacob, a little promotion to you. I saw you put out your Luther Burden prospect profile today. You could if you did sign Aaron Rodgers, you could use your picks to just bolster your offense and make like pre-show. We were talking. Casey was talking high expectations for the Jim Schwartz third year, and I have to agree. Right? You look at it and say, if you sign Aaron Rodgers, you're going to make a run at it. You're going to do everything you can to make a run at it. And I don't hate that. Do you guys hate that?
I mean, I won't cover the team professionally if it happens.
Yeah, no, I hate it.
I don't want to live with that. But like, no, dude,
right.
he's the most skilled quarterback on the market, and that was true 2 weeks ago. That wasn't these dominoes that have fallen recently. Don't change that statement. He's super talented. He's a douchebag, and he's a douchebag. He's on a weekly show. It's massive.
That's
and
true.
You have to deal with all the noise and all the weird shit. And I don't think he's a good teammate. Well, whatever.
Okay.
He's super talented. Aaron Rodgers, if you look at how he's playing at the end of the season in a dumpster fire, he was playing great. He was playing great, man. I think Jerry Jeudy would feast with Aaron Rodgers as quarterback.
I do too. But I want to bring up to you guys, because I have a little bit of foundation to stand on here, because there was a Mary Kay Cabot interview on 92.3 about a week ago when they were discussing the Russell Wilson stuff when he came in. And she said that if Russell Wilson did not come to Cleveland, the Browns have maintained an open door with Joe Flacco throughout this process, and that they could potentially look to Joe if Russell chose elsewhere. And I am the meme. I am the walking meme of, if Joe Flacco has one fan, I'm him. If Joe Flacco has no fans, I'm dead. Okay. I still think that door could be open, man. Because Joe wants to play. Where's Joe going to go at this point? Where's he going to go? Because I still think Aaron Rodgers is the most likely situation in Pittsburgh. Like, if you look at it and you say, where would Joe rather go than Cleveland at this point? And what are the Browns really? Are we just saying Kenny Pickett's our veteran? Is that the route? I don't buy it.
No. I don't think anybody's saying that.
Okay, so then number two, are you picking Joe Flacco or Carson Wentz? Because that's where we're at right now.
Both. Yeah, dude, you're not paying either one of them money to prohibit you. I'm wide net. None of these dudes, Flacco, Wentz, Pickett, none of them are getting handed the starting job. You don't just go get Flacco and be like, it's your job now. You got to go compete for this shit. So bring people in to compete. Draft a rookie. He's got to compete too. Wide net, motherfuckers. Bring dudes in, arms, and may the best man win. And Kevin, it's on you at that point.
Kevin loves Joe. There is zero doubt in my mind that Kevin loves Joe. And if you're looking at Carson Wentz or Joe, I don't see why you wouldn't. I don't see why you wouldn't. It would make – there's no way Joe's not employed. I just don't see a world where he's not employed. And
well, there was a world 2 years ago where he was sitting on a couch, and we keep talking about the couch that he was sitting on. It's a revolving door quarterbacks, and he's 40. There is a world where he doesn't get on a team. Like, that's definitely possible. I would bring him in.
Yeah.
He's among them.
I try to put myself in Joe Flacco's shoes right now, and the Browns' shoes for that matter. And it's like, at this point, you're looking at the Minnesota wants a veteran, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe your chances to start there are like, I just feel like your chances to start in Cleveland are significantly better than your chances to start in Minnesota, where they already invested the first round pick in JJ McCarthy and are clearly going to want to see him. So if I don't know what Andrew Berry's going to do, but I just feel like if you're looking at veteran quarterback options, I would much rather have Joe Flacco than Carson Wentz. I'm not opposed to both. Jacob, I know I see you there, and I know Flacco's not your favorite option, but with the remaining quarterbacks now, are you turning down Flacco?
I mean, I don't necessarily think I'm turning him down, so to speak. I don't think anybody's talking about Drew Lock, and we should probably talk about Drew Lock.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Okay,
still hanging out there. Maybe Easton Stick. Can I interest you in an Easton Stick?
Damn it, no.
Okay, come on.
Can't do that one.
Trey Lance.
Tell me Drew Lock.
I've been that dude for years as an example of guys who got starts in the league and how abysmal quarterback play is. It was Nathan Peterman. Now it's become Trey Lance. I'm in. Cool.
All right. I would say yes to Trey
But
Lance.
none of these dudes are getting handed the starting jobs. What I'm saying, none of these
Right.
dudes you bring in, it's like, well, our starting quarterback's taken care of. They got to compete. So if you're cool with competing, bring him in.
My last question about quarterback to you both is: do you think that this Russell Wilson signing makes it any more likely that the Browns would be willing to give up a pick to get Kirk Cousins?
Here's the thing: Kirk has that no trade clause. You're going to have to let the draft play out. He's going to have to see that you didn't draft a quarterback with the second overall pick before he feels comfortable coming here.
Yeah, because that's what came out over the weekend was like he doesn't want to do that again.
Sure, that's fair. Right? Why would you?
And so then you're waiting until after April, and I think, and I've always thought this, with going into the draft with a very, very glaring hole, like there's going to be a hole at the quarterback position.
Clip it up.
Don't clip that up. Because so they're not. So they're. Oh, so they're not going to go into the draft like, with Patrick Mahomes there, but going in there with nothing on the roster would be incredibly ignorant. So, and in the Kirk Cousins situation, he's not going anywhere until after the draft. It feels very, very evident. Even if they cut him, they could cut him right now, and I don't think he's going anywhere until after the draft. Because people are going to be like, well, they could give him assurances they were not going to draft one. I'm pretty sure Atlanta did that when they gave him that contract. That they were like, yeah, you're our guy. And then they turned around and took one in top 8. Could you imagine signing him if you're Cleveland and then you took Shedeur at 2 or something, or took Dart or whoever you took, but you took a quarterback after you signed him. And then they're like, because how old is he? 38? Is that what it is? 38-year-old Kirk Cousins isn't stopping me from taking a quarterback at 2 if I think there's a quarterback at 2 that can be a franchise quarterback. If I personally don't think so unless it's Cam Ward. But if I'm the Browns and I'm like, man, I love Jackson Dart. Man, I love Shedeur Sanders. Man, everybody would burn the place to the ground. But man, I love Jalen Milroe. Whatever. Actually, Jackson Dart goes too. That people will burn the place to the ground. What happens if they don't go quarterback in the draft for Kirk and then Atlanta wants a day 2 pick? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like, and that's my thing. In no way, shape, or form should you be hanging anything on Kirk Cousins right now. At all.
Agreed. You can't.
Because, I'm not giving a day 2 pickup for him. Like, I'm not giving a day 2 pickup for him. And, and then, like Bill's talking about here, like you're potentially in a situation where you don't get you don't go QB in the draft, or you go like, Kyle McCord or whatever, like a guy that's not threatening anybody, and then you don't get Kirk, and then you're just sitting there, and it's like Kenny Pickett and Kirk Cousins and Deshaun Watson, or I'm sorry, Kenny Pickett and Kyle McCord and Deshaun Watson or whatever, I don't. Yeah, but it's like I say Deshaun Watson because he's under contract only on the roster by name only.
Let's post some more videos for whatever that's worth.
I said this last night on Mock Draft Duel, but have you noticed how very blatantly obvious he is? He's making a very big point to post a bunch of stuff where you can very clearly see he has a boot on. Mm-hmm. Like everything's like him, and there's that boot. All of a sudden, there's that boot. There it is. Like you're like, oh.
Dude, I'm happy he wasn't wearing a boot though. Like to begin with, to get to this point.
No, I get it. I'm just saying, I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, no, he's making a point of it.
He's
got to wear it that one day. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, he's just trying to make sure he doesn't lose any more money. So make sure he doesn't lose what he's got left on his contract. That's what he's doing.
And get him the fuck out of here.
It feels very obvious to me that he has confronted his football mortality, and is aware that like this just could be it. And I mean, God bless him. I guess he got his guaranteed money, and so he doesn't have to worry about that. But I mean, he's still a competitor. He still wants to play. I feel like that's pretty obvious, and I don't think he's going to get that opportunity. And so I think that's probably why he's trying to hold on to this and just post himself in Browns gear and do that type of thing, man. That's my theory behind it. Because it's like just out of nowhere, you know, like he almost never posted anything Browns, right? But now all of a sudden we're getting like multiple things a week. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
It's just a desperate man trying to stay relevant. That's all I look at it.
I know, but I just want to say I still hope they sign Flacco. I still hope they do. I think it's possible.
I think it's very possible. I think it's very possible, Joe Flacco. I think Carson Wentz is very possible. They're going to get one of those guys. Maybe not one of those two guys, but that guy, a Drew Lock, Carson Wentz, an Easton Stick.
Because you guys have both been, we don't want Shedeur Sanders at 2. Totally respect it, right? But like in the event that you're not going to take Shedeur Sanders at 2, does a quarterback room headlined by Flacco and Pickett not make more sense? Right? Like if you're going to take Jalen Milroe or Will Howard or you know Jackson Dart or one of these guys later, like would you not want 2 guys who have played in the league, you know, and it just like I get it with Carson Wentz, he's younger, but at least you've seen Flacco be successful here. It just makes so much sense to me. And I just I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm going to hope. I'll leave you go.
Yeah. I mean, this is what we knew was going to happen when this offseason started. Like there was never going to be this godsend player that was going to come in and just be like, hey, for some reason the Chargers cut Justin Herbert. Like nothing like that was ever going to happen, right? Like that was never going to happen. But I just come back. We'll talk about the offensive line. Let's finish up this quarterback conversation. We'll talk about the offensive line. And that was never going to happen. But I just come back to something that I have said a million times. Everybody here has said a million times. Everybody listening has said a million times. How many times over the past 3 years have we said, give me league average quarterback play and we can win football games? Can you get that from someone like Carson Wentz? If you need to add some more weapons. Like you need to add more to what you got. But like, can you get Luther Bird? Can you add a Luther Burden, a tight end and a rebuilt running game, and Carson Wentz manage it? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Maybe you can. Maybe you can. My thing is I can never see Shedeur as a top 10 quarterback because he has a very league average arm and he's very average athlete. I just don't see the physical tools to ever get him there. I get it. I see why people like Shedeur Sanders. It's easy to see why people like Shedeur Sanders. He's the most accurate passer in this class. It's not close. His ball placement is exquisite. Someone told me today that he's really good at avoiding pressure, which is factually false, incredibly false. He has one of the highest pressure to sack rates in college football this year, and he takes a bunch of 20-yard sacks.
Being unshaken by pressure is more accurate. I feel like he's not rattled as easily.
Right, and he'll go from first and goal to out of field goal range because he's unrattled.
It's one of the things that follows you too. If you get sacked a lot in college, that only gets turned up at the next level. I mean, that's for everyone.
No, you're not. You're not, Josh. We appreciate you being here. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make sure we're involving intertwining these topics together. I don't know. I get what you're saying about this. About Flacco saying he doesn't want to be a mentor. I just don't think. I think when someone is presented with, you're either going to be a mentor or you're going to be unemployed. I think they'll be a mentor. Maybe we're spending too much time on Flacco. I'm not sure, but it does feel like the last like remaining good option, at least to me.
Yeah, I mean, you were never presented with very many. Were never presented with very many good options. So an interesting. We'll transition to some other stuff here, because what I keep coming to is now build the offense up, because I don't know that you're going to find the quarterback this year. Build the offense up, put it in a position to where, because you never know, man. You never know. You strike. I mean, the Browns struck gold and got hot with Flacco, and it took just a phenomenal defensive mind and D'Amico Ryans to dismantle them in the playoffs. But like, you can see where that goes a different way if they get a different matchup or something. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it was a phenomenal job by that defense. They knew exactly what the Browns were going to do, and Bobby Slowick was in his bag against Jim Schwartz. So, but you could strike. I mean, look at didn't both Giants Super Bowls they were 9-7 that year? Both Eli Manning Super Bowls, they were 9-7. I know they were 9-7 when they beat the 18-0 Patriots. Or
If I'm not mistaken, they were the first wild card to go all the way and win the Super Bowl. I believe that's the stat.
I think Aaron Rodgers did it as a wild card too. If I remember his Super Bowl, I thought his Super Bowl was like a 9 or 10 win season. But my point is, build this offense up now, because you can then try to plug and play the quarterback later. Now, if you love Shadur at 2, take him. If you love him, take him. I'm going to be mad about it. That's okay. I don't fucking matter. My opinion doesn't matter.
Well, that was my whole thing, even to the Russell. Like, was I in favor of it? No. But if Kevin thinks he can win with him, who am I to say no? Like, so if they love Fedor too, and they think he is that franchise guy and he's plug and play and he'll save their jobs, then that's what you have to do if you believe that.
And they're telling you that they think that whoever it is can save their jobs if they take him, especially that early. You know what I mean? Like they're telling. Yeah, I see that.
Oh, I wanted to bring this up to both of you because Cardiac Kid, who is Sean on Twitter, for people who don't know him, brought up a Myles Garrett interview with Nathan Zagura, and they were asking him more in depth about the quarterback direction, not just the clip that went viral where he said he liked the quarterback plan, but he repeatedly referenced young and process and learning and a lot of other verbiage that would lead you to believe Andrew Berry told Myles Garrett their plan is to draft a rookie and build around him, and he clearly seems more bought in that process. Now, money doesn't hurt, I'm sure, but
40 a year doesn't sour his ass or anything.
40, I'm agree with whatever you say too.
But all I'm saying is, he clearly has sold him on the fact that the Browns are going to draft a rookie and that there's going to be a process. I don't know where that's going to be, but I know they will draft one.
That's exactly it. I do think one goes in the top. It goes in the top 100 for sure. I think they take one in the top 100 for sure. I know I've done some mocks with them taking one, like with that, what is it, pick 104 or 103, whatever it is, that first 4th round pick. I know I've done that too, but like, I think in the top 100 with one of their top 4 picks, I think they're going to take, I've really got it in my head. And this is not coming from me talking to people or any sources, this particular thing. I've talked to some people about some things. But I have it in my head that 33 is where the quarterback goes. And rather that's trading up from 33 or staying at 33, that's where I think they go quarterback, because I think there are guys that are worthy of it. Like Casey, we've had this discussion about Jackson Dart saying, hey, he's probably a 3rd round guy. Well, everybody gets boosted up a round or so as a quarterback. So I'm not taking Jackson Dart at like 2, but like at 24, if they move up a little bit, at 32, 3, like I'm not a big Jackson Dart guy. Everybody knows that. Everybody's listening to the show knows that. But I can see the physical talent and why you would think you could get him there. Because I come back to this thing. We talk about his hand being held by Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. Yeah, Kevin can hold his hand. Like Kevin can give him a lot of those easy answers. We've been asking for a quarterback. So if you're looking for a Bo Nix like extension robot situation, I think Jackson Dart is that extension robot on the field where he can just because he thrives in structure. That's where he's at. That's where he's at his best. Is when he can drop back, boom, bow, out, 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 out. Now, when the first option is not there, there's some issues. there's some major issues. But like I think they take one in that range. So my thing is at 2 and everywhere else in the draft, let's build it up, man. Let's make whoever's job it is easier. And there's this contingent, and I'll pass it to you guys here. There's this contingent that think that you can't take Abdul Carter at 2 because you have the worst offense in the world. And my kickback is like, well, they got 9 other picks. They had 9 other picks to still make offense and do some things like that. But my focus would be for the rest of free agency and for a majority of the draft, it's become evident that we need to build around the quarterback position because I'm not sure you're going to have the quarterback to build around, but you may be able to get someone young and just see if you can strike gold with them.
So look what they've done so far. Once again, fuck words, it's all actions. They've bolstered the offensive line. I'm not saying they're done there.
They got like 12 guards.
Yeah, I'm not saying that this is the finished product. Obviously, you still gotta build to it, but like you're not reaching. You if you had to go into the season with who you got, you can see a world where that happens. You also got some pieces you can move for other offensive pieces. We're hearing rumblings of maybe Teller being on his way out to facilitate another playmaker. So these things could all be in play.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain ranges where you can still get guys. I feel like for receiver in this draft, I don't feel comfortable outside the 3rd for receiver.
Yeah, Bill, I'm with you. I'm with you on the if you're building around the quarterback, don't take it at 2, make it Travis Hunter. That's a strong. You have a strong argument, a strong case for that. Sorry,
I want to give. No, Casey, go ahead. Sorry.
No, so if we're building around and we're trying to do that through the draft and flex some young talent, I see ranges where you can get some positions later than others. If you want an offensive tackle, 33's a spot if someone does fall. If you don't go quarterback, wide receiver, the run's over by the 3rd round for me. Running back goes all the way to the 6th round.
Yep.
Where I feel good about you could really bolster this running game. So you have plenty of ammunition to do it. I wouldn't mind seeing them move up in a couple places. There's a chasm between 104 and 179. Do I think the Browns don't make a pick between there? No. I think they're going to. So you're going to lose some of those picks. So there's going to be a lot of movement. But I don't feel good drafting a quarterback at 2. I know that.
I just don't. I think you can get it. I just think you can get such a significant difference maker that's not a quarterback. And I like what Jack said. He said, I had a convo with someone who said this. If we take Shedeur at 2, next 4 picks should be to help build around him. Yeah, in theory, I want to do exactly what you're talking about. I just don't want the quarterback to be first because I'm just not there with Shedeur or any of these other guys.
And then the pressure's there to play him right away. And these guys are in a must-win scenario, man. Like
that's part of the problem. Think of it this way. Say it's Travis Hunter. And whatever you think, he's going to play some offense. I know that for sure. What that looks like, what the defense looks like, what all of that looks like. I'm not getting into that. But you take Travis Hunter, so you say, okay, we got another dynamic playmaker. And then you get to 33, and I keep seeing Josh Connerly, the left tackle.
Me too.
He just keeps being there in all these mocks and all these sims. And I'm like, listen, you want to give me Travis Hunter, who I have as the number 1 player in this class, over Abdul Carter. I love Abdul Carter. I have Travis Hunter number 1. You get Travis Hunter, who could make an impact potentially on both sides of the football, but we know that Andrew Berry loves him as a wide receiver. He's literally told us that. And then you get Josh Connerly at left tackle. Doesn't have to play right away because you got Cornelius Lucas, which I keep forgetting about. I forgot about him last night, and Sam Penix reminded me. I was like, oh,
nice depth piece. It's a nice depth piece.
Go look at the data and look at how he played. He was significantly better than anyone else who took left tackle snaps for the Cleveland Browns in 2024. His 2024 season was significantly better than anyone that played left tackle for us there.
Right.
And then potentially 67. What is it? 60? Is it 67? I don't freaking remember anymore, man. But potentially there you go, well, let me take Will Howard. It's a little early for me, but let me take Tyler Shuck. Let me take Kyle McCord. You take one of these guys. Maybe Jalen Milroe. I just don't see Jalen Milroe being there because I think I just think his ceiling's way too high for that. I know some mocks have seen it.
Somebody probably trades up for him, I feel.
Or just takes him in the second because he slips a little.
Sure.
And they're like, okay, go, yep. And then then you got 94 and you're like, all right, let's go Dylan Sampson. Let's go Devin Neal. Maybe. And then all of a sudden you're saying, I got a left tackle, a dynamic playmaker, a quarterback who I think has a high floor. Because that's what I love about Will Howard. I think he's got a high floor. Low ceiling, high floor. I got a playmaker. I got a running back. I can protect his blind side. And all of a sudden I'm sitting here and I'm going, I still think Kevin's a really good offensive head coach. And then all of a sudden I'm sitting there and I'm going, I don't hate that. And then if Will Howard sucks, you can go get another damn quarterback next year.
Yeah, it doesn't prevent you from anything.
Well, I'd like to begin this.
Does. Taking Shedeur at 2, to me, does.
Both of these guys up here are more educated on the draft than I. And so I'd like to start this take by asking a question. Would you say that it is more generally regarded that Travis Hunter is a better cornerback than wide receiver as far as a prospect?
I think it's split, man.
Okay.
I would say for me and Casey, I know you absorb a lot of this shit too. So you have I'm sure you got a good feeling on it. I would say 60-40 people say corner.
Mm-hmm.
I would say 60-40 corner from just from the people I listen to and stuff.
But the style of corner that he is.
It's not.
And I'm not saying he can't play press man. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying what we saw in college was an off-man corner who feasts in zone, who baits quarterbacks into making dumb decisions, and he has such quick closing speed he can make people pay. He would have to adjust his game if he was going to play corner for Jim Schwartz. That's what he would have to do. I'm not saying he can't. He's been the best athlete on the field, every field he's ever been on his entire life. I'm sure he could transition into that.
He's a freak.
Yeah. I wish he would have tested at the combine because he could have shown off. He could have been like, and that's why.
I think he's going to test at least a little at Colorado's Pro Day, which, by the way, is being aired on NFL Network. That's on April 4th.
Yeah.
It doesn't carry the same weight as doing it in Indy in front of everybody, apples to apples with other guys. I want to get back to that. If you are a unicorn, if you are a freak, show it on the biggest stage. Doing it on your pro day, they'll still talk about it minimally. But if you do that in that section with everyone else who's trying to be that guy and you are clearly heads and tails like just that dude, that could have cemented some things for me.
So
yeah, because we know, but it's just so much funner to see it. It's just so much more fun.
Show off. Be like, that's why I'm that dude.
It's like, hey, by the way,
you
remember?
both.
Go ahead, Nick.
I just listening to you both endorse him as a corner is really a good sign to me because my take is that if you're not going to take a quarterback at 2, I would rather take Travis Hunter than Abdul Carter because, especially with Andrew Berry's comments that he sees him first as a wide receiver and second as a corner, because general consensus is that Travis Hunter is a better corner than wide receiver, or 60-40. Okay, let's say it's even 50-50. My point is, if Andrew Berry is telling you that he sees him as a wide receiver, and a lot of other smart people think that his best strength is a corner, to me, then the GM is telling you that this is a unicorn and that somebody that can do something, play both sides of the ball. I'm not saying he's going to play all the time, but my point is, you're basically saying that you could draft a guy at 2 that could help you on both sides of the ball. And to me, that is what you want when you say, okay, let's draft best player available. A unicorn that can play on both sides of the ball is a best player available. And so if they're not going to go quarterback, I want Travis Hunter over Abdul Carter. That's my take.
Is it completely valid? Completely valid. My concern with Hunter isn't that he's not skilled enough or good enough to play both ways. It's and that's asking a lot of a human being. You know,
what does that look like?
That's and the split, and it and in my mind, and this is only because we haven't seen it done. So maybe this is something we're about to be. This will be unprecedented. But we've seen full-time corners moonlight on offense. We haven't seen it the other way around, where a full-time offensive player comes in occasionally on defense. You know, there's communication. There's a lot of different moving parts on defense where I think it's harder to be that every now and again guy. So we've never, maybe he's that guy. I don't know. But it also creates, if he gets hurt, you have a hole in 2 places. Like, you know what I mean?
There's a lot of risk.
That's something you have to weigh. And physically, he's a freak athletically. He's not a freak physically. Like, his physicality it's his quick twitch. It's his movement abilities. His football IQ is off the charts. So, but it's durability, and just because we've never seen no one do it, it's hard to bank on that being like how he's going to carry himself in the league. And now mentally, he's telling you that's what he's doing. He's telling every time he's been asked, you know, like they're like, "Hey, man, do you vision? You know, are you going to return kicks?" He said, "I've already got 2 jobs." Mentally, he's a 2-way player. Mentally, physically, can you do that? We have to see it.
Yeah. I still would remain at Abdul Carter as my preference at number 2. But the Travis Hunter thing is just so fascinating because it's just like, it's a unicorn, right?
If somebody's going to set that new precedent, let it be the Browns. If somebody's going to set that precedent too, let it be the Browns.
Well, and the situation is, say he only plays one side of the ball. Could you use another corner, and could you use another wide receiver? Yes. Could you use another corner? Yes. So even if he only plays one position, I think he could. And I'm with you, Casey. He's not the proper type of corner, but he's one of those guys where I think, like, if he's a full-time corner, you figure it out. Like, you figure out how to deploy him. But my point is that I lost my train of thought. But my point is, either way, you're sitting in a situation where you're like, we make him a full-time wide receiver? Great. He's great at that. We need one of those. Oh, we're going to make him a full-time corner? Great. He's great at that. We could use another one of those. And then you kind of move on from there. But then I say you start building around the quarterback position. I think you double dip in this running back committee. This running back pool. I think you double dip in there. What's really upsetting to me is that I really like this guard class, and that's the thing we don't need because they've got a bunch of guards now. And so, like, it becomes interesting because then you got to take tackle a little bit earlier because I don't think it's nearly the class that the guard class is. But I think the Cornelius Lucas thing is a situation where you're like, I'm comfortable with Cornelius Lucas playing left tackle for 17 games. There's a lot worse outcomes.
That frees me up to pursue a guy like Carson Vincent later.
Right.
Or Charles Grant, who you might need a year or 2 to be that guy. But if you have Lucas in place, I would be completely cool with making that move. But that's about as far back as I'm willing to go to look for a tackle in this class.
I love both of those guys. I really do. I love both of those guys as developmental left tackles. The thing for the longest time, I thought Charles Grant was going to have to move inside. And then I got his measurements and it got his weight up a little bit. And I was like, oh, yeah. All right.
His movement skills would just be so nasty in a wide zone scheme.
Yeah. Did I see the Josina tweet that the Browns might be open to trade? We already knew that. That was the thing. Everybody started running with this Josina Anderson tweet where they were like, she said the Browns are trading down. No, she said the Browns are open to trading down.
Yeah,
We've
of course
known
they
that.
should be. They should be open to every possibility.
Like, we've known that.
They should be open to every single possibility.
It's been on the table for a while.
The only way I'm not is if Tennessee doesn't take Cam Ward, and then I only see one possibility.
So I got deep in the weeds today and was told, hey, there's a big smokescreen coming from them. They really want to trade out of number one. And I'm like, yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. We've heard they would be open to trading down. Like it's been out there. It's been out there. That there's a really big smokescreen coming around the Titans and that they want to move out. But if they can't get a king's ransom, and this was before the Russell Wilson trade or signing, they're like, if they can't get out, they're just going to take Cam Ward. And that baffles me. Like, that baffles me. You really, your preference is to trade for a king's ransom. Understood. But if you can't get it, you're going to take the quarterback anyway? Doesn't that seem weird? Does that seem a little weird to you? Like, that seems weird to me.
Yeah.
Like, that seems really weird to me.
Now, and this is the first year GM.
Yeah.
Is he hitching his wagon to the quarterback year one? Because most times you only get one crack at it unless you have success against all odds, Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me either. But
yeah, that one just came off weird because my instant reaction was like, well, if they don't get the trade out, maybe they take Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, and we've got Cam Ward at 2, and everybody's like, nope, he's going up 1 no matter what, and I'm like, yeah, right. That's what I'm talking about. I did some digging on the rumors that the Titans are open for a trade, and was told that they prefer to trade. They're trying hard to trade it.
That's my thing, man. I shared that Kyle Hamilton video where he dropped that Jameis Winston interception. You could pick any one of the 3 wins. I don't care. The point is the Browns were 1 loss from just having their pick of the litter. And it's like, if you like Cam Ward that much more, if you say Cam Ward's a franchise quarterback, Shadur Sanders, we're not so sure, then you should be trading up to 1.
They want 3 first round picks.
Open to it.
Yeah, and they're not getting that. So
they want 3
play their bluff, though.
From 1 to 2.
It's what they're asking from the Giants, and I was told the Giants are offering 2 first
But are
round.
the Giants offering 2 after doing what they did today?
But that was before. I haven't talked. Yeah, I haven't talked.
You let them get this out of their system. They're not getting 3. No one's giving them 3 to move up from a minimal amount of spots. But does that hold the same in 20 days from now? In 20 days, when they don't get what they want, and
that's interesting.
They're not getting 3, so
Right.
they're not getting 3. Yeah,
because with the Giants signing Wilson and having Jameis, they can. I get it. The contracts aren't. You said the Winston contract's not starter money, but they can just say, we're going to run Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston out there, and we're going to draft best player available. Like, they totally have that ability if they want to. So
they're in a similar position now. Their GM and coach are in a must-win.
Russell Wilson's probably. I mean, you just throw moon balls to Malik Neighbors, you're probably going to win some games. Play some good defense.
Jameis would be so much fun with Malik, though. Jesus,
I agree.
How'd they fuck this up?
They probably, you know what? There's probably a lot of truth to what you're saying about the Titans, and so the New York Giants were just like, fuck you, right? Like we'll do it this way then if you're not going to be reasonable with us trading up.
And the Titans want their cake and eat it too. So if they either want Carter or Hunter, we're the only team that can guarantee them they get what they want if they trade back. We're the only team that can guarantee that.
Yep. And that's, I mean, I just can't see any world. Okay, if they're not sold on Cam Ward for whatever reason, which I saw some speculation that like this is why did the Titans need another workout with him if they already went to dinner with him, they already have a workout with him, they went to his pro day, like why do they need? And so I saw some theories that this is just, I mean, we're in the midst of silly draft season, right? That this is just them posturing to bait more
Which they
offers.
should be. Which
Right.
they should be. They should be, you know, create as much intrigue, create as much, it's a scarcity too. Like we got this guy and you can't have him.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, oh, what would it take to get him? And then it's whatever.
I mean, like what? Okay, let me just ask you both. What would it realistically take to go from 2 to 1?
Right now, 3 picks, which is not happening.
Yeah, that's the problem.
No way. No.
No.
My thought was a day 2 and a day 3 pick is what I thought initially.
Day 2. So, okay, like your 3rd and like a 5th or something.
You could talk me into a 3rd this year and a 2nd next. I could be talked into that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If they believe in Cam Ward, I'm in. I'll
give you 67 and I'll give you my 2nd next year.
Yeah.
But to
and
move
then you
up
still
one
get
spot.
Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, whoever it is.
I mean, I just don't see like, okay. And I give a lot of, I think both Jacob and Casey are plugged in. And so I give a lot of weight to the fact that they say that the Titans would be willing to trade down. But it just doesn't, from a Tennessee perspective.
No, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. What, are they going to run the mailman back out there? And that's just going to be the plan?
I was talking to Bill, our good friend Bill Sparks here in the comments. I was talking to him today. And I'm like, he's like, it doesn't make any sense because like you didn't bring anyone in. I'm like, I know.
Yeah, they're building up their whole offensive line, right? They've built in the trenches, very Bill Callahan. Bravo to them. It seems like they're setting up for a quarterback, and it just, I don't know.
A Galaxy Brain thought, I think that they're the one destination Kirk would probably waive his no trade clause for because it's in the South. It would be a place his wife would agree to go to if they don't go quarterback early.
Okay.
But this is all after the fact of the draft. You know what I mean? So
Right.
It ain't happening before then.
I just wish the Browns would do something. I'm bored.
I saw your tweet about that today.
Everyone's like, careful what you ask for. And I'm like,
you know what I'm saying? We're going to come off this and Winston's going to be signed. People are going to be mad at me.
2 questions. Do you believe there's any legitimacy to the Brandon Ayuk rumors? And 2, do you buy anything that there's been, just little scattered reports out there that maybe the Browns are making progress with Nick Chubb?
Well, I'll say that every year that Andrew Berry pursues a wide receiver in trade, and just as they were connected to Jerry Jeudy for years trying to get him, the same has been true with Brandon Ayuk over the last 2 years. So I'm sure, they're kicking tires. You go and sign another starting caliber guard and Tevin Jenkins, you might have made one of your other guards expendable. More than likely, that's why Teller, because there's a hole over there in San Francisco. Like you could see, San Francisco's not happy with Ayuk either. It feels like they signed that deal last year and both sides immediately regretted it.
Out of spite. Like both sides signed it out of spite.
And I was leading the train last year for Brandon Ayuk. I wouldn't be mad if you go get him this year. Although he's coming off a knee injury that's going to take him a while to recover from. But we know they're going to make a trade for a receiver. It's been what they do. Mm-hmm. So I would assume they've 100% talked about it. Do I know if they're close? No, not at all.
Yeah. I have no idea on that aspect of it, but like, have they talked yet? Have they probably talked to San Francisco? Yeah. Do they understand what it would probably take? Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I would say that, I would say that that's true. With Nick Chubb, every day that goes that he remains unsigned by someone else, he's closer to coming back, I think.
Okay. That's encouraging. I'll take that.
It's probably like a 1 year.
Right.
Very, very minimal thing. And then they're going to put him in a position where they're going to bring in if they're going to bring in a veteran, which I think they're going to have to, like there needs to be a veteran and one or two rookies drafted. I fail to see another veteran I'd prefer over him that's out there right now. Because like you could say J.K. Dobbins, even bigger injury history. Like,
True.
Like there's nobody that's like so definitively above him to where I'd be like, no, I'd rather take that veteran because I am of the belief that I'm going into 2025 with a rookie as my starting running back.
I feel like
with Jerome Ford obviously still having a big role.
I just feel like Nick Chubb's been here for so long now that if you want to bring in a rookie, he's probably the best one to learn from. And if the Browns didn't have Jerome Ford, I mean, part of me wants J.K. Dobbins. Part of me does. But the injury history is also scary. And I just think you gain more value from the longevity of Nick Chubb than maybe running back production is so findable. I just don't know that is worth bringing in Dobbins over Chubb.
Yeah, I don't see it.
What do you think, Casey?
I'll never bet against Nick Chubb. And I'm not saying he's going to be Nick Chubb from 2020. That ship has sailed. But like, could Nick Chubb be 80% of what he was at his best? I think he can. I think if there's one guy who needed an off season to be healthy to work through things, it's what made me sad that he broke his foot when he did. But the one thing that I think pulls Chubb away right now is if a competing team loses their starting running back before we have a chance to sign him. Some injury that they have a massive hole and they would be, because he's not going to be expensive no matter where he goes. He couldn't provide anyone any more value than he can this team, and this team needs a vibe win, and Chubb does that. You know what I mean? But it's not going to prevent you from looking at this amazing running back class and snagging two dudes. It can't, So I would much prefer him to be here as opposed to be in what I saw proposed in the chat just now of Chicago or New England.
I think that's where I end up as well. Nick Chubb has such longevity with the franchise that it makes sense to me, and he's not going to be expensive. I just don't see coming off 2 straight season-ending injuries, Nick. And it sucks for Nick, right? Mm-hmm. On a human level, on a just a Nick Chubb fan level, like he deserves so much more than he's going to get. Like he deserves that Saquon Barkley extension. You know what I'm saying? Like just objectively, but he probably won't get 25% of that. And that's terrible for him. So I just hope that more than anything, he's successful. And I think, he's been in Cleveland for so long. He's voiced his desire to stay here. I think he deserves a chance to be successful in Cleveland on the back end of his career. I think he deserves that. I think he's earned it. And maybe that doesn't make the most sense, but on just other things from X's and O's, or not X's and O's, dollars and cents, I just think I would love to see Nick back.
It's a good place.
Amen.
Ain't it?
I think this has been a super fun. This show's really become a discussion type podcast, and I love it. I love you both for that. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that's been supporting us and been watching. I do firmly believe, the closer and closer we get to the draft, I do firmly believe that they are going to bring in guys that are going to help them in the long term, and that this team will be better off in the long run. It's hard right now. There's a lot of negativity out there, and I understand it, and it makes sense, but they have an ample opportunity to really fix this team. And so I can't wait. Hopefully by the next time we're live, by the next time we see you, maybe the Browns have another quarterback, because that would be Jacob's board. We need another quarterback
or two.
So this has been a quarterback carousel, Nick Chubb, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter episode of the Barking Brown Show. Nick, he's Jacob. That's Casey. Go Browns.
Yeehaw.